Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Some of you will probably be not happy right now. Many of you probably will. I'm half and half and I'm torn because, as you can tell, I'm starting this video, which only means one thing. I've won again and I've taken the lead. But I've done it in certain circumstances where I cannot really enjoy this win, and we're going to get to all of that at the end of the video because Leeds-Chelsea were the last game. But, George, 6-5 to me.
Yeah, 6-5 to you.
What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I've worn black for my own
We're
funeral.
here for your own funeral.
In the predictions, and I've got a light blue Man City coloured shirt on underneath because, well, we've got to rely on Man City now, haven't we? Because unfortunately, I'm going to say it at the start of this video. This is the video where Arsenal have won the league, and I believed it before, and now I'm convinced by it. And unfortunately, reality is reality, and it is what it is.
I'm an Aston Villa fan.
There we go. Now that is something I could get behind. Bring me more purples, everybody.
Up the Villa. Up the Villa, yeah? Listen, we're at a point now to give a little brief synopsis, right? I think we're all now relying on Villa to do everyone a favour because I think everyone has to now rely on Arsenal dropping points. It's as simple as that. No one else wants to really take hold of things. We now need Arsenal to drop. Everyone needs Arsenal to, which I don't really see happening, I'll be honest. But up the Villa. We're going to get to all of that in the next video where we give you guys our predictions once again, and I go 7-5 up because that's how it works.
I'll give you that, to be fair, at this point. I've got no self-belief right now. I'm sat in this chair dejected. I'm a broken man. This is what Leeds United can do to a man, all right? I'm broken. I'm finished. But I'll tell you one game that wasn't finished at any point until the whistle was blown.
Yes.
At the very end. Fulham 4, Man City 5. What a rollercoaster way to start this Premier League midweek review, mate.
Absolutely outstanding. Well, outstanding for the neutral and for what it's worth.
This was, there was a potential I might have been able to go to this game, weirdly enough.
Oh, yeah, you had the, yeah.
Yeah, I might have been able to go. I didn't go, so pointless thing to say, really. But, I mean, what a game of football this could have been. It was on the verge, if it wasn't for Josko Vardiol being one of the greatest Premier League comebacks in history. Would have been on par with Newcastle and Arsenal in the 4-4. But Man City, this is like a game of two halves for them, really, because they raced into a quite emphatic lead. Phil Foden seems to be back, which is great news in a World Cup year. But Man City were 5-1 up, and then Fulham nearly, and I say nearly, because they didn't, but they nearly pulled it all the way back to 5-5. What a game.
Mate, 5-1. With City, they scored the 5th and then just thought, we're clocking out, lads. See you later.
Yeah, it was the Haaland celebration night then at that point. It's like, sorry, mate, this is the Premier League.
Unbelievable. And Fulham done everything that we would have wanted to see from Fulham once they were 5-1 down, which is just painful because they had what it took to actually get something from this game, weirdly enough. I mean, I never thought I'd say it, but Fulham being 5-1 down against Man City actually did everything to make it 5-5.
Yeah. But actually score.
But exactly in the last moment. And City actually end up just basically walking away with tail in between their legs with a win.
Mate, I'll say as well, all of the goals that Fulham scored were amazing.
They were really good goals.
And when you look at the way that the goals went in, I was like, this actually does have the feel like it's destiny for this to finish a draw. Because, like, they're just proper goals, you know what I mean? Like, Chukwueze didn't know too much about this geezer until he buries two absolute screamers. Iwobi, great goals.
Yep.
Smith Rowe with his first start of the season, scoring for Fulham. I think there's a lot of positives for Fulham here because that was a resurgent end to the game from them. But I want to ask you about Man City because I've not been convinced by them all season. Might be an element of bias there, but like that is football. That's what football analysis is all about.
Yep.
I am not sold by this Man City team defensively. I mean, how can you? That's a capitulation, really. And I think this is kind of why this is now all about Aston Villa for me. Because I don't think Man City are anywhere near good enough to really, truly challenge Arsenal. Maths says yes. Realism says no, in my book.
Yeah, it looks like they've got flaws to an extent. They're not, I'd say, efficient enough or complete enough. On paper, you'd think they are, but they're leaking. You know, they score goals. They've got top players. They've got a setup that you'd think, yeah, can definitely go on and win the title for sure. But defensively, they've got holes. And when you see them going 5-1 up and then literally almost throwing it away, Man City going 5-1 up and then throwing it away is unprecedented. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time that we've seen these defensive flaws from Man City this season. And this is where, yeah, there will be teams that on their day won't concede as much as that and should still be able to hurt them. So Man City are a one to watch in terms of there might be some shock results in store in the not too distant future of teams getting points at City.
It's going to be a fun one to predict them for the future. Because I think that could be a strong element moving forward.
Yep.
One team that did have a very strong week was, I'm going to say Jack Grealish's Everton, 1-0 away at Bournemouth, which is kind of compiling the misery right now on Bournemouth, who need a little charitable donation. Check into tomorrow's video to find out when they're going to get that one. But Everton have won 1-0 away at Bournemouth. And I also want to just bring up the Premier League table here because Everton are in a position right now where they've won 3 out of their last 4 in the Premier League. And they're 10th in the league, but with 1 win, they could be 4th. Wow.
We love this game.
Mental. Insanity.
Yeah. Whereas Bournemouth, on the other hand, who started so brilliantly, are in relegation form.
They actually are.
They're sitting in 14th. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 now.
Mate, they are in awful, woeful form. The goals have dried up. And, I mean, Everton were the better team throughout this, really.
100%. And being away from home. This isn't something we really predicted. Or Everton to actually go away and get a job done like that. And a very efficient job at that. It's something they needed to do. But Bournemouth at home, I expect so much more from. Overall, they were poor.
Yeah.
Just poor. They look lifeless.
I feel like it's kind of, and it very much does coincide with the Semenyo leaving news. It's like the wave that they were riding was great. I mean, I was sitting in here talking about Semenyo week in, week out. He was probably one of the best players in the league.
Yep.
And then as soon as that news dropped of release clause, he's going to be sold, everybody wants him, he ain't staying, they've fallen apart.
Yeah.
Big time fallen apart. But Everton, I think, deserve a lot of credit because that is another great away win off the back of a clean sheet and a win at Manchester United. In terms of, if Everton had a proper striker, they'd be up there in the conversation right now.
Yep,
which is crazy.
I think they'd be close to where Sunderland are right now if Everton had a proper striker, which they don't, because they do create some chances. They don't bury them. They're actually relying. Dewsbury Hall's been scoring goals for them lately. Grealish got the goal for this one. They're not really getting goals from their main man up top, or Beto, for example. We don't really see much from. If they did have someone up top, yeah, who knows?
They'd be serious.
Who knows? One thing I will say about Bournemouth, though, and it's ironic, everything about Areola has calmed down, isn't it?
Well,
it's funny how that works.
I still think he's a decent manager.
For sure.
But then,
but they're in freefall.
But this is my kind of thought about this, because Palace are 5th, right? They're doing well. We'll talk about them in a little bit.
Yep.
But it's kind of, with these teams, I wonder what the motivation is when your manager is constantly linked with a move anywhere, but staying where he is. I wonder for the players, it's like, how much collectively can we buy into what's happening right now? Because at any point, really, one of the big teams can have a meltdown and the manager's gone. So it's like, well, how far can we go with this before we kind of just realise that we have a big ceiling that's not actually that high and we're not going anywhere?
Well, there's 2 things, yeah. First thing, I don't think Palace have a problem with that, right? Look at Glasner. He's actually the most rumoured and I think wanted and in-demand manager, aside from the big lot, in the Premier League. But ultimately, the table is so volatile that 1 or 2 match days can flip everything on its head. So Bournemouth right now, have free-falled into 14th. give it 2 wins, they'll be back in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
And that's just how the Premier League right now, after 14 games, is looking absolutely unbelievable. I've not seen it like this in years, if we're being completely honest. It's crazy.
It is absolutely mad. From Chelsea down, I'm gonna let Aston Villa sit
Yeah, of course.
in their little bracket of we're doing good right now. From Chelsea to Leeds is 10 points.
Yeah.
What?
And Leeds are
17th.
17th.
Lovely.
And we're
Brilliant.
14 games in. This is something that you normally get up until 10 games in. 14 games in, we're not far off from talking about being halfway through.
Yeah, we are close now.
And it's this volatile. Mate, I know crypto's crashed and whatnot, but the Premier League is as volatile as crypto right now. It's insane.
It's entertaining if you're a neutral.
For sure. Shows the standard of the league as well. Overall, I think there's a thing about bigger teams not fulfilling the level, aside from Arsenal. But there's other teams there that have stepped up, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of caliber, performance, consistency. So overall, it's a great league to be in, that's for sure.
And I'll tell you somebody who stepped up, and it actually might have saved Thomas's job, to be frank. Romero, mate. When Tottenham are in need of a man, bring your centre-back forward. Diving header and overhead kick. What an iconic day for him.
Honestly.
Mid-table clash, 2-2.
Yeah, it's funny that. Newcastle-Tottenham's a mid-table clash. Man, what did you say for this prediction?
I said 3-0 Newcastle with chest.
Man.
I believed it.
I was this close to really, really thinking, you know what, Newcastle to get a narrow win as expected. Nah. Flipping Tottenham actually get something. Whilst we look, this is the history of the Tottenham, isn't it? We wrote them off completely. And to be fair to them, whilst they were down and out, they did manage to claw something out towards the end. So I will give credit there where it's due.
Winless in the last 5, though.
Of course, yeah. And this is the history of the Tottenham. But
Thank you.
but I think Newcastle will be gutted with this one
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, no, I think this is... they were just looking as though they were about to build some momentum as well. Anthony Gordon on the score sheet from a penalty. Nick Voltwana didn't take it. I wonder if that was just to allow Gordon to get a goal.
I think
that's
so.
the first goal he scored this season.
I think so.
But Newcastle, mid-table mediocrity right now, and Spurs pretty much where they belong.
Mate, Newcastle having a penalty late in the game. This is a very Newcastle thing as well. It's not the first time we've seen it this season where they get a late goal and they don't hold on to it, which is so unlike Newcastle. Where you look and you think, okay, defensively they can hold on for a few minutes. So if you had to rely on a team in this league, Newcastle will be up there with a team that you can rely on to cling on to something until the end.
Slow motion goal, mate. It's almost as if the whole Newcastle team turned into Tosin for the 95th minute. You got one moment. All you got to do is defend it. It's only Romero, bruv. And everybody just becomes a Tosin and the world stands still and we just watch.
Yeah.
You've
got mate, you're fuming.
God, get me through this video, please. Tell you what, let's talk about the new second team. Aston Villa.
Yeah.
They have gone to Brighton and they've won 4-3 from 2-0 down, by the way. We've had some corkers in this midweek Premier League, and it's Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4.
Yeah.
In a match that was basically touted as, you want the top 4? Have it, mate. Between these two, 4th against 5th at the start of the night, and Aston Villa have won 8 out of their last 9 league games.
It's unbelievable.
That is a phenomenal run. And I'm going to say it, we're relying on them. We are actually relying on Aston Villa to just end Arsenal. If Unai Emery, I'll say this now.
Oh, it's written.
If Aston Villa finish ahead of Arsenal this season, I'll get an Unai Emery tattoo.
Nah, that won't happen.
That's why I said it.
But if Unai Emery can go, it's at Villa Park, if he can nick 3 points, right, and bring Arsenal back down to earth a little bit, for all of our sake, right?
For the world,
For the world, then Unai Emery's a legend.
Yeah. Give
Fair
him
play.
James Bond.
But you know what? That would be so written. That would be like Premier League poetry. Is for Arsenal's old manager to be the one to actually put a dent into, the only one to put a dent into Arsenal as of right now.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant.
Well, back to the Brighton Villa game, though.
Yeah.
There was a lot of scrappy goals here at play.
Loads of scrappy goals.
There's a lot of scrappy goals
Mate,
this
these goals
week,
were
to be
not
fair.
goals, except for the end. Like, Brighton did get a couple of really good goals towards the end. So did Villa, the Ollie Watkins shot.
Yeah, the Ollie Watkins second goal was very
Second
good.
goal, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Van Heck second goal as well.
Yeah.
But the rest, oh my God. They're all trickling over the line.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I'll give us credit for this, we did say we were expecting a high-scoring draw, to be honest, for this, and we were pretty close to getting that because it did end up 4-3. Credit to Villa to go over there and get a job done. That's not easy. To go to the Amex and score 4.
They're
Fair
also
play.
3 points clear now. So they're not only they're literally the relegation zone. This is how crazy this Premier League is.
There we are.
And this weekend, like tomorrow, you guys will see Premier League predictions. We love a December, don't we? Especially on Shootout. Make sure you're subscribed. But it could all change again very quickly with Aston Villa playing Arsenal this weekend. Burnley versus Palace. This is where I took a punt, and this is where I have succumbed to defeat, and this is why I'm wearing the death jumper today. Because Eunice did manage to get a point here, not 3. And I bottled it. I don't know why I anticipated Burnley scoring goals, because these guys do not know how to bulge the net, ripple the net, whichever way you want to go with it. And Munoz is a good player. Barcelona kind of player, I reckon. Better than Jules Koundé. I'd pick him over Jules Koundé. Munoz. All day of the week.
Calma, Koundé, calma.
Yeah. He's still in Marc Cucurella's pocket.
Apparently so.
Apparently so.
But,
Calvert-Lewin isn't.
mate, up the Palace, up the Selhurst, yeah? Can always rely on my, I guess, locals to help us, well, not even help us out, help me out, yeah? I needed 3, well, I didn't get 3 points. I needed a point, yeah? And Palace delivered for me, so fantastic. But Burnley, look, they've joined Wolves, as far as I'm concerned. Burnley look a mess. Burnley, overall, definitely heading down.
Yeah.
No substance. You can see they give it a go. I believe, unlike Wolves, Burnley actually have a collective. They're just not good enough.
No.
Simple as that. Wolves are in tatters. Like, Wolves, I wouldn't expect to be in free fall in the way that they are. I think they've got a better team than that. Burnley, though, yeah, it looked like they're trying. They ain't got the facilities.
No. They don't have the facilities. That is the history of the Burnley at this point on Shootout.
Burnley, yeah, they're going down.
One team that are going down for sure are Wolves, and one team that aren't going down is the history of the Sean Dyche, Nottingham Forest, who have gone to Wolves and won 1-0.
Up the Forest.
I nearly got this one spot on. You know, we were both 1 goal away from nailing this one. You said 2-0 Forest. I said 1-1. Again, I've gone for the bold, and
You gave Wolves too much credit.
yeah, mate. I mean,
I told you.
you did tell me. Oh, I'm not making that mistake again.
Mate.
So you all know what's happening tomorrow. If there's any Wolves fans watching this, can you
Are you guys still alive?
can you vindicate any reason as to why we should believe that there could be a resurgence? Edwards is in charge, but it doesn't matter, mate, because
Nah.
Forest have robbed you. 1-0. Igor Jesus with the goal, and Nottingham Forest, they are up to 16th in the table, 15 points, only 9 points behind Chelsea.
Which is insane.
I don't know why I'm even saying these stats. It's just winding myself up more.
No, I mean, I know you are. No, but again, it goes back to that same point. The Premier League right now is so
Utter chaos.
it's chaos. Now heading into December, this is just the beginning. Yeah, the schedule is packed for everyone now. There's going to be so much chopping and changing. It's stupid. Bring it on. I'm like, as a neutral, I'm all here for it. As a Chelsea fan, I'm not. But then again, technically, I also am, because you never know. This league right now is so unpredictable. It's stupid. But like we've already mentioned, Wolves losing is the most predictable thing that you can find in this league as of right now.
Yeah.
And Forest needed that to bounce back. And they got a job done. Not the most brilliant performance overall, but it's 3 points. Sean Dyche will definitely be happy with that. And Forest will carry that forward into the next one. But yeah, 3 points away at the Molineux. They'll take that all day long.
Arsenal 2, Brentford 0 is the next game. And first of all, I want to just ask a question and summon Keith Andrews to the table.
The comedian, Lee Evans.
What on earth are you thinking by dropping an 11-goal striker for Arsenal? Do you not get the memo? Why are you complicit with this activity? Why are you He's an enabler. Apparently, he had a knock in the last game. I'm not having it. I'm not having any of this. Players need to have no. Brentford aren't playing European football, mate. They're not playing twice a week every week. Let Igor Thiago start, and I think Brentford would have won this 5-2, personally.
Yeah, okay.
Arsenal it's a well-oiled machine at this point. 2-0, Mikel Merino scoring a header. Tell me something I don't know. And Bukayo Saka scoring a scrappy goal to save his blushes when it comes to the statistical nightmare of his 2025.
I'll tell you what, yeah, and this is starting to become more apparent and more evident. What Arsenal have here is a cheat code.
Yeah.
Of they're able to break through any opponent by scoring in the air, which sets the momentum and then gives them full control of the game. Because there's other teams like us included where sometimes we find it hard to break down teams that are less favourable to win against us, right? But Arsenal have this thing where it's like, don't worry, we've got a way that no one can actually keep up with in order to get that first goal, which is always a cross into the box, a set piece which is still a cross into the box. Whichever way it's got to be done, or it's a throw, it's a lump, it's basically a cross into the box. And then they just score every single time from a ball in the air. They're headering it into the net. I don't know how they've worked to this level, to such intricacy, for them to be so accurate by scoring goals by just lumping it into the box. But when you go 1-0 up against an opponent like that, you get given full control. And then you can go and get the second and the third with peace of mind. Arsenal have mastered that, which gives them composure, even defensively, because they know they don't have to push up as much. They don't have to dedicate too much. All they got to do is get some set pieces, get some corners, get some, even if the ball's on the flanks, just whack it into the box. We're going to score. And that's something that other teams just cannot do. They're just not at that level. Arsenal have mastered it, which gives them a lot of breathing space. That was exactly what they did against Brentford. You know, any other team, including us, we have a home game against Brentford in this manner. We're not sure of actually winning the game. Why? Because of this very point. We have to almost come out or try and break teams down. Or Arsenal just don't do that, and they get points. So I have to say credit to Arsenal overall. They're very, very, very efficient. And Brentford, they concede that first goal, and then they just go into panic mode. I'm surprised that Brentford didn't actually try and even push up more to take it. They had one occasion where they hit the bar, and that was unlucky.
Yeah, it's a good save though from Raya. To
very,
be fair.
very, very,
You
very
need
good
your
save.
keeper to do that.
Yeah, and apart from that, not much from Brentford.
Brentford kind of saw this as, all right, we've got 3 games in 7 days. We ain't going to win this one. Let's drop this one. Cheers, boys. Appreciate that. Excellent.
Yeah, but,
Lovely.
I was talking about the West London Alliance before all of this.
No, they
What a
need
crap
the
alliance.
Allianz, mate. They need insurance after that. I'm telling you, flipping rubbish, mate. I need insurance too. Because
for
this is a
nothing.
big table and I want to headbutt it. I'm not going to. Don't worry. I'm okay, guys. Just to clarify. I'm okay. I'm tired.
You're looking
I'm tired.
You're looking unstable, mate.
I feel unstable right now. A bit like Chelsea whenever we play a team that shouldn't beat us. I can't believe this. This is the next game. Liverpool's the last game of the video.
Yes, it is.
Leeds 3, Chelsea 1. Well done to Leeds United. You are 17th now. You are out of the relegation zone. You've boosted your goal difference by 2, which has taken you above West Ham United. You've now gone above them in goals, and you conceded less than them. Well done to Leeds. Daniel Farke plays a decent side for Leeds' standards, and they take their chances. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the highest rated player on the pitch against Chelsea. And Chelsea have completely rendered all of the hard work of the past week redundant. That was abysmal. You hiding? All right, I'll keep talking. Tosin, what are you doing on the football pitch? He
Mate.
was. Oh, he's got a 6.2 rating. Should be a 2.6 in the negative.
6.2.
Mate, this is why you don't believe in
What?
all these ratings nonsense.
Where was that from?
SofaScore.
Delete the app. Delete the app. I don't like saying that overall, but bloody hell. Look, this game was, and we done the watch long for it. How do I analyze this? Because Chelsea needed to get something from this game to even justify all that hard work that was done in the week prior, right? Against Arsenal, even the result against Barcelona, even the result against Burnley beforehand, where we actually got the job done. It was like, okay, maybe we can take these so-called smaller teams on. Historically, Leeds Chelsea is one you just don't play with, right? Because there is a deep rivalry there. And the old school lot that travel to Elland Road will not appreciate what went down last night for sure. But this is where there's two different areas that need to be analysed here. What Maresca chose to go with, right? And then what went down in that second half. Because what Maresca chose to go with shouldn't have been done. And that basically set the precedent for a very tough evening. And when he went to rectify, and it actually looked like Chelsea were on the way to turning the game around, well, certain someone shot us in the head.
We got Sean Kingston, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, Tosin has shot our football club last night. It should be an investigative crime at this point.
Mate, I said he should be arrested at this point.
Bro.
I mean, I don't mean it, of course, but you know what I mean. On a footballing level.
It's the most deflating result I can remember. Because earlier in the season, right, I've had my angry moments this year, I've had my sad moments, I've had my happy moments. This is it's just ruined the whole season. Because, and don't get me wrong, people will take that out of context. Let me explain something. The season isn't over, obviously.
No.
I get that. Even this weekend, the gap could be back to 6. It is just, I believed we could go on a run and we could beat these kind of teams to be in a title race. We've earned the right to be in that conversation, but now we've earned the right to exit.
Facts. I agree with everything you've said there.
And the problem I have, and the reason now all my excitement is gone, is because this will happen again. We'll play a great team and we'll do brilliantly. And then we'll play someone like Leeds, no disrespect, but we won't show up again. Why? Because Maresca's got a thing with just heavy rotation. And we're going to do a couple of videos also on our own individual channels in deeper detail about Chelsea. And the word rotation has to be a conversation topic in itself. So we'll leave it there. But in isolation, individually, everybody off the pace. And I've got to say, it's about energy and mentality. Again, why am I still having this conversation about Chelsea years on? It's the same thing.
There is, although I will actually say tactically, unlike the Arsenal game and the Barcelona game, I feel like Maresca also didn't help. And the way that we were set up, with the personnel that we were set up with, put us at a disadvantage from the get-go. Because when you concede that early and we were chasing the game, that's not a situation you want to be in with, like you've said, a heavily rotated team. With players on there that you would argue just shouldn't be there, or at least players on the bench that even with rotation should be playing. You know?
It's no matter what door you open,
Yeah.
you turn into a what?
Because
What?
if we're talking, rotation, right? Okay, Reece James not playing? Cool, he's been rotated. But Gusto should be on the pitch. But he's not on the
Every
pitch.
time.
But we've gone to a back three, which, when we saw that lineup, I was like, okay, that might actually, I guess, make sense based on what Leeds are playing. But again, the personnel are just not... The personnel's wrong.
Yeah.
Palmer, you'd argue, is ready to start. Well, start him. He's play him. He's ready to go. Stick him there. But...
Fundamentally, Chelsea's position in world football right now is that we can be reactive against good teams, and that works.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't just go out and play whatever game it is you want to play because you're playing against a really good side. When we're playing against these teams, he's still trying to 4D chess it. No! Not a single Leeds player would get into a Chelsea 11. I know that's not how football works. They wouldn't. They're in the relegation zone before this. We should be beating Leeds every day of the week.
Yep.
Every day.
And Leeds, no, not Leeds, sorry, Chelsea, I think showed this, especially into the second half. Maresca clearly sometimes overthinks, right? When he went resorted in the second half back to Gusto and Neto coming on that right-hand side, and he went back to basics, what happened?
Yeah, we got back in the game.
We got back into the game. We scored. The momentum was in our favour. We were looking like we were on our way. We were fully on our way. And I believe we would have gone on and scored a second and we would have probably got something from that game. But in the process is where we turn to the other reason, which is Tosin. And again, we talk about rotation. He shouldn't have been on the pitch. And in our previews, we didn't have him in our lineups. Like nothing. With Tosin, when you look at the availability of some of the other defenders there, how the hell is he getting ahead of some of the others that we have available? Josh Achempong is an example here. He must feel done. Because there's mistakes and then there's what Tosin done last night, which is just
unforgivable.
It's unforgivable. That's you cannot make an error at this level. And I say level, I'm not talking about Chelsea, I'm talking about Premier League.
Yeah.
You could be playing for Wolves. You make that mistake, mate, you're done. That was criminal. It's an absolute criminal error, which set us into
oblivion.
A complete The game collapsed at that point. The whole game collapsed because what Chelsea were actually trying to retrieve and get themselves back into, which they were fully on the way to. You get shot in the head, you're done.
Yeah. No, there's no coming back from that.
No,
that was a capitulation of the highest degree.
And credit to Leeds, because Leeds showed intensity and urgency from the get-go.
Yeah, they were up for it.
They were fully up for it, and it looks like they understood the rivalry. The history of the fixture. They actually, that's not something I've said before.
The history of the fixture.
History of the fixture.
It's going to be a Juicens advert, that could.
Yeah. But Leeds fully understood that from the get-go. But we said this on the watch-along. They weren't going to maintain that energy for 90 minutes.
No.
They can't. And they didn't. But they can always rely on Charity FC to help them along the way.
December Football Club, mate. We can't do it. There's no point. Just don't show up. But don't worry, we'll be here on ShootOut this weekend to watch us go to Bournemouth when they're in dire, desperate need as well. So, yeah, I might even wear my Santa's hat for that one.
Perfect timing,
Costume.
Bournemouth. Perfect timing.
Honestly, disgrace. Tosin, awful. But let's move into Liverpool, who've got a draw against Sunderland. Some would say a very good result. Liverpool don't do draws, but apparently now they do. Christmas has come early. If you're a Liverpool fan who wants to see a draw. Sunderland, another great result for them. They've lost 3 in 14. They're 6th in the Premier League. They stay ahead of Liverpool in the table. And Florian Wirtz still doesn't have a goal. It's taken away.
It's an own goal.
It is an own goal.
It is an own goal.
But better from him.
Yes, but still not good enough for Liverpool.
Nah.
Still not good enough. Credit to Sunderland. It's actually... For them, it's a bit 50-50 because they played well. Mate, I realised one thing about Sunderland. They were just shooting from distance and it worked. Like, even before them scoring that first goal, I think they had about 3 shots from out the box. I don't know if this was a tactical instruction. I don't know, but it was working. Just lump it from 30 yards out, 25 yards out. And then they were rewarded, albeit it was a deflection of Van Dijk's back. But you create your own luck in these sort of situations. And that's exactly what they did, and it went in. So I don't know if that's something from the manager, but they were doing that, and I realised it worked. Sunderland, overall, very good performance. You could argue that Liverpool, still not brilliant. Sunderland might have felt they could have got 3 points.
Yeah. And when they went 1-0 up, I literally said on the stream, Liverpool are going to win this 1-0.
Yeah.
Within 10 seconds, the curse of Benson's Christmas past is back to haunt us again. Oh, mate, I feel like I'm going to turn into the Grinch after this today.
You actually are, mate. Give it some more time. You'll end up turning into Darth Vader at this rate.
Well, as soon as we finish recording this video, we're going to record tomorrow's predictions video. And by the way, just before we go into it, Man United West Ham is tonight as well. And regardless of what happens in that match, I've said 2-0, Eunice said 2-1. Eunice will win this week. This midweek. So it's now 6-5 to Eunice in this predictions. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
You're on a resurgence right now.
Thank you.
I'm basically Bournemouth at this point.
You are.
Andoni Areola, good manager apparently.
I'm Villa.
You are. Eunice is the history of the Villa, and I am Bournemouth.
Yep.
So that's where we're at right now. And also, the World Cup is being drawn on Friday. So we will be live on ShootOut reacting to that because obviously this is the World Cup where England will win it. They'll beat Algeria in the final. That's what's going to happen, Eunice. Don't worry. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Which I'll be so... nah, it's never happening.
Imagine
I'll be so
that.
conflicted.
I would feel like...
no, it'll be the worst final in the world for me.
It would be.
What do I do?
What would you do? That is the question.
But nah.
But we're gonna be back with predictions tomorrow, and then the live stream will be an additional piece of content
100%.
for you.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. So make sure you guys are there with your national team shirts, all out in force, because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we want to see flags in the chat. We want to see the whole shebang. But anyway, thanks for ruining my week, Chelsea, and we'll move into predictions again tomorrow. Ciao.